Drink my drink and take my time. All right, now. How you doing? Oh. Howdy. Get out the way, Forrest. Get in the way right now. Get out that man way. Yeah, they didn't let me in the building. You know what time it is. What's going on? It's coming.
Man, I'm sitting here looking like, man, we got all the fishing royalty here tonight.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Hold on, I got the wrong shoes on, Mr. Forrest. I got the wrong shoes on. I need my boots on.
Yeah. Got the 3 best fishermen in the state. Right.
Oh, shoot. We're going to hear that all night. How you doing, sir? All right, all righty.
You doing okay? No, I'm good.
I need 2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onion on the sesame seed bun. How long that's gonna take? Let me get 2 crawfish pies, man. Y'all still working or y'all quit?
All right, welcome into the North Shore Fishing Report. Welcome into the North Shore Fishing Report show. We're here at the new Bayou Stuff, formerly called Bayou Adventure. Shannon and Jeff have built this place into a great sanctuary for us fishermen here, and the folks from Bayou Stuff have come in and not changed much, so that's definitely a good thing. We got fishing lures here, refreshments, the kitchen is still open. We got the North Shore Fishing Report gang here, and I got Mike Gallo here. He's going to join me as our first guest. We got a great lineup of guests tonight. Mike's going to kick things off, and then we're going to talk with Captain Andy Jones of Wicked Charters. We got the Marsh in here. We got Mr. Forrest Green, and we got Cajun Ray Miller, the Sac-a-lait killer. We're also going to talk with Chris Basie. Chris is he runs Bass Assassins, and he's very good with electronics. So we're going to pick his brain with electronics as far as bass fishing goes. But let's kick things off. One more thing, guys, make sure you have a raffle ticket. We're gonna be raffling some stuff off. Got some Deadly Dudleys, got a Frank Davis seafood notebook, got some pliers, Sac-a-lait, Cajun Ray, Sac-a-lait jigs, got a map here, all kind of good stuff to raffle off. So make sure you got a raffle ticket. But Mike, welcome, and man, I know things are about to crank up for you. Things are warming up. It's been a stellar speckled trout season so far. Why don't you talk a little bit about that, what you're seeing? Spillway has not been closed. I don't think it has been closed. I don't think it's been open in 3 years? Two, okay. 2 years. And it seems like we're definitely seeing the effects of that.
Right, Keith. First of all, thanks for having me. Enjoy talking fishing, as you know from our conversation last night. We started to see some speckled trout. The water finally cleaned up a little bit. We had a high Pearl River early in the spring through March, and that left us with some sort of stained water in Lake Pontchartrain. But early April, first week of April, that water kind of got green a little bit and hit the ground running with some beautiful fish. It's been quite a while since I've seen some 5-pounders come out of Lake Pontchartrain, but we've caught several this spring. Obviously, a few more 4-pounders, and a 3-pounder is not uncommon on each trip that we make to the bridges. So it's good to see them come out there and keep us busy.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about the weight of a speckled trout. So I'm seeing 19 inches caught, 20, 21. What's a 20-inch trout? What do you think that weighs approximately?
Well, it'll depend on whether it's male or female. The females are generally bigger, thicker, so they'll fluctuate in their weight. But I would say 20 inches could be anywhere from 2 3/4 to 3.5, depending on how thick it is. Nice, healthy fish.
So talk a little bit about your biggest caught, and I know you're fishing with clients, so you have the benefit of seeing extra people catch trout, so you could really gauge the speckled trout catch from year to year. Compare it to, say, last year.
Oh, I hadn't caught a 5-pounder in probably 4 to 5 years. It's been quite a while, especially in the spring. We caught some decent fish in the fall of each of the last 3 years, but not in the spring, and good to see them, like I was saying earlier.
What's the largest caught?
I haven't actually physically put one on a scale, but we had several fish in the 24-inch range. Nice fat fish that we estimate to be 5 or better.
Well, everybody loves fishing the trestles, as you could probably tell. if you cross over the Highway 11 bridge and take a glance to your right. Talk a little bit about the trestles. Is that bite dying off? The weather's getting a little bit warmer. It seems like those trout typically move on out, you know, when it gets warmer.
It does seem like they'll fade out towards mid-May. Lake Bourne seems to be more popular or better as they transition eastward. My last couple of trips in Lake Pontchartrain were last week, Friday, Saturday, and did very well on them both days. Had clients come from far out of town that wanted to fish redfish Sunday through Wednesday. So I haven't been in the lake as of yet. I know it was rough on Tuesday. Spoke with some of the local captains that caught some fish, but being rough, it cut down on the numbers quite a bit. I may be back out there Monday.
Right. Okay. Everybody got their tickets for the Martian giveaway. I have a pack of baits. Some of my favorite baits I love to use, world. These are trick shots. I mean long shots. I use them, but not as much as everything else. Now, everybody know if you know the Martian. I'm gonna pull it out. I got it in there for y'all. I don't have the shades. I got the June Bug Hula Sticks. We got some Bad Shad minnows. Now, I'm gonna tell you, that's my favorite minnows. I use this sucker year round from freshwater to saltwater. Got a few other little things. I got 5-pack of my favorite baits that actually come out of my tackle box. So if you don't catch on this, the Martian always making groceries. So if you don't make a little grocery style, I don't know. All right, world. One ticket. Who's gonna be the lucky winner? Somebody else pick. Get the lady.
442225.
Oh, bingo! All right, now go catch you some fish with that, my friend. That's a Martian pack. That's guaranteed success in that bag now for some bass. Guaranteed. Hey, now if you don't, even me and my friend was talking about it earlier. If they don't catch something on that, they can just throw it out there, let it sit. They'll catch a fish. Yeah, I give you money back.
All right, welcome back. We have Corey Labastri, the Marsh Martian. I'm sure everybody has seen him on YouTube doing fishing shows, very timely fishing shows. It almost seems like if you want to go fishing by your Lacombe, you turn his channel on YouTube and you might have a video that's done that the past afternoon. So
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
A good picture of what's biting down there. I know, Corey, you fish primarily bass, but just like Bayou Lacombe, all the Bayou Lacombe anglers, boy, you could just take advantage of a wide variety of fish.
Yes.
I checked out your channel, man. You're catching sharks, you're catching bull reds, you're catching Sac-a-lait now. You've added Sac-a-lait.
Yeah. Trying a little something different.
So, well, let's dig right on in.
All right.
What have you been seeing? I know we're transitioning from spring into summer. And
Cool,
I know
already.
You're starting to see the droplets in your eyes, stinging in your eyes, and you're like, man, I do not miss this sweat. So, what are you seeing out there? Have you tailed off of Sac-a-lait fishing and gotten back to bass fishing more?
Yeah, but you know, hello world. All right. Yeah,
get that in. Sorry.
Yeah, you know I got to get my hello world in, talk to my people. But yeah, I've transitioned back into full-time bass fishing. I mean, I made a couple trips with my daddy this last week to check out the speckled trout. Everybody's, you know, to get all excited about the speckled trout. And they're running over me in my little canoe trying to go get to the trestles. But it's all good.
And that's when people are running out to
Yeah. They launching at Main Street and then Lake Road, and they, you know, not everybody's too courteous to the little man in the canoe, you know. It's all good, even in the big boat, you know.
I think it's always been like that.
Man, well,
the
I'm sure we got a few of the locals will tell you, in Bayou Lacombe, we're real courteous. The people come up, we've always been real courteous and try to slow down for people. I slow down for everybody when I'm on my boat, and that's, you know, we just ask for the same return, but it's like Bayou Bumper Car, you're not gonna get that, so. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, maybe you should head over to Chifuncta River because they're very
yeah.
All right, Corey. So bass fishing. Have you changed anything? You using a Ned rig, or is that more of a winter thing that you use?
Nah, Ned rig is when we need to make some serious groceries right then and there. If you're trying to go out and fish, you can try a bunch of different baits, but if you're gonna Ned rig, you're gonna make groceries, okay? Because it's really easy for kids, women, and just novice fishermen who wanna go out to catch a fish. So it's a real easy technique, as long as there's not a lot of grass, sticks, and rocks that you can get caught up on, you know. You lose a few baits with the exposed hook, but if you learn to rig it weedless, you know.
Describe the Ned rig for those.
Oh, I could have brought some.
How do you
Anyway, Ned rig is usually, what size hook? I can't think of what size. I use the Z-Man Z-Lock, so I use a number 10.
Okay.
I like a lighter weight. Or I'll go to Walmart and I'll get the Eagle Claw, all shank hooks in a 1/16 of an ounce, and I'll just file the head down to make it semi-mushroom so it'll still float.
Okay.
So I use Z-Man products. Everybody knows I'm a Z-Man fanatic. The buoyancy in the bait is gonna help it float. So you don't necessarily have to have a mushroom head for it to float. Okay. So long as you take the bait and you stretch it, you wanna stretch it a few times like that, pop. And
What's
then
that to get air into it?
A lot of them have, if they are salt embedded, the salt actually weighs it down a little bit. So as soon as you pull it a few times, it puts air pockets, it pulls some of the salt out, and it actually look at it, it'll go from the little 2 3/4 to almost a 3-inch bait once you stretch it out a little bit. Even like with the hula stick and the fatties and things, if you know they're salt embedded, you'll stretch them and they're more buoyant once you stretch them.
Okay.
Because if you use it out the pack, it's gonna wanna sink a little bit. Now, if it's not salt embedded, it's gonna float 100% out the pack.
And you want that floating with the...
Yes, that's the science, you know. I don't use Zoom, I don't use traditional plastics, I don't knock them, I came up on them, they caught me many fish. But with the last tech, I just love the buoyancy. It gives me that look of it's always feeding, something's always feeding, and the bass is gonna go to something that looks like it's feeding, you know, standing up, wait, hey, how you doing? That's how this plastics are, standing up. So that's just the ticket with me. I love it.
Looks like it's feeding though, with the head down and the tail up in the air. Now, what's the difference in a Ned rig and, let's say, like a shaky head?
Shaky head basically is it's not a Ned rig, but it's basically on the same concept, except like if you get the new Brian Latimer, he took his new shaky head series, the SMH series, he basically took a big Ned rig hook, a 2/0, and shaved, you know, and made it the jig head, the lead part, like a shaky head. Okay. Because the old shaky heads kind of line up with the hook and the eye, they line up. Okay. So you have to kind of get the hook in there, you'll have a lot of miss. But with his, it's like a Ned rig head, so it's kind of offset a little bit, so you get a higher hookup ratio. So as soon as the jig comes out his mouth, the hook's getting
tweak there.
Yes, sir.
To it. Okay.
And it's basically a Ned rig because you're trying to float your worm. Before they had Elastic and float worms, that's what the shaky head was for, to try to keep the bait up on an angle, so it would seem like it's some kind of floating. People injecting air with needles and different things, all putting little pieces of styrofoam or anything in it to try to make it float a little bit. It's a lot of tactics, but the last tech is just a ticket for me, you know. I'm not sponsored, I don't make any money. I just love their baits. Just like a normal person loves Zoom or whatever, that's my go-to baits.
Oh, there you go. Hey,
yeah.
You use what works best for you.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
People watch you. What do you say? Speckled trout, did you, anything in Bayou Lacombe this spring?
I went from the Sac-a-lait back to the bass, and I've been getting reports, everybody, you know, my friends and posts and stuff. And I wanted to go chase them, but I'm sorry, you know me, Keith, I'll tell you, I'm not gonna chase speckled trout. I'm not gonna always go run out to the trussels. You know, I'm not gonna lie, I got my little issues sometimes, you know, the people get a little up on top here and they have their personal opinions.
What about in the marsh? Anything in
the
marsh?
That's what I did a couple days ago with my pops. I'm looking at speckled trout cutting in the marsh. You know, I'm in there about a foot or two in the marsh. I'm looking at the silver and purple cutting, but I'm not getting many bites. Okay. There are like trillions of mullet out there right now, from half an inch, seem like, to 8 inches. And so I guess they're just having a feeding fest, eating on the mullets, and they weren't biting. But what we ended up doing to get a few bites, we caught croakers, baby croakers, I mean, 6 inches maybe. We ended up drop shotting. I took a tungsten finesse weight and put a rubber keeper in it, stopped and just tied a knot and put me a mosquito hook on it, and put the Slim Swims.
Yeah.
And put a white one, and actually it dyed pink from the scent I put on. Some actually crappie scent. And we jigged, and that's how I actually caught a 14-inch speckled trout. My dad caught a flounder, Ryan Glottner caught 2 flounders. So we were just having a good time talking.
We're going to talk a little bit about flounder as well, but how'd you catch the baby croaker?
Same thing on the same little rig. Right now, if you go out there,
Small hook, man.
small.
Like your
Look,
perch fishing.
you could go out there with Mr. Green Sac-a-lait jigs right now and probably just rig that up and go, and you'll catch a bunch of little croakers. The fish are slowly moving in. I saw a sheephead in the pond about this long, just the stripes 2 foot away from the boat where we were anchored up. Ryan Gladner caught 2 big old catfish back there. So the saltwater fish are in. You know me, they're here, but they're not really showing their faces because they have such
It's
a...
not like fall.
No,
When
no,
those trout
no,
get
no,
here in fall,
no,
you know it.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
it makes it hard to
yeah.
ignore.
You know, I have those big boats chasing me in a foot of water in that marsh.
Seeing some big fish. Talk about some big trout.
Big, really nice fish, and you're seeing the boxes come over. You know, you've seen the pictures on the internet. Internet's been around for a while now, so this isn't a new thing. This is a great run. A lot of people are catching fish, and they're big. They're nice, really good size. We had a client get a 5.6 pounder, 24 inches off the trestles, along with everybody else. You know, the word got out quick, and it gets crowded fast.
Yeah.
And it does. It gets, you know, but those fish, the good news is they've been all over. Their fish are everywhere. People get something in their mind and they tend to just go to one spot. But the shorelines have been holding them. The different cuts around have been holding them. The fish are there.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
you
people
just
get
have
so
to go
focused
look.
on that little 5-mile train bridge, but you know they have another bridge right over there.
Highway
They got
11.
the twin
I mean,
spans,
you see a very famous guy out here. You know, the Matrix Shad, old Chaz goes out and he puts on a clinic all the time. He'll go to the opposite end or go away from them and comes back with a nice box. You know, and it's just sometimes going away from the people is a good idea.
Definitely. So what are you fishing mostly right now, or are you tapering off of the lake? Were you in the lake? I'll tell you what. Every time I talk with you, gotta ask you about the Causeway. It's just one of those things.
Well, you know we're gonna go.
All
right. And
that's why I ask you.
Yeah, you know we're gonna go, and it's been a lot better this year than it has been the last 5 years for sure.
Okay.
Now Causeway is a fascinating fishery. We had some great striped bass this year.
Okay.
Absolutely incredible. Now we catch them every year when it's cold. You know, coming out of that winter into the springtime. You know, the water's still cold. We'll catch them.
You talking trolling?
This year they were bigger. Caught a couple trolling, but we jigged a lot of them this year.
Okay.
Yeah, we jigged a lot of them. Really nice fish. They're coming out of that Chifuncta River. And in those areas, they don't stay when the water gets hot. When that water gets hot, those fish tend to move back in, go back into the river systems, bayou system, and get deep and get out. You know, lake's so shallow, it heats up quick.
Real striped bass or hybrids?
Real striped bass.
Real
There are
true.
hybrids. There are hybrids. Bayou Lacombe and all those areas, you will catch hybrids, but these are legitimate striped bass.
Yeah. Wow.
Real deal.
Yeah. The majority we see is hybrids, but it's
You
rare
see a
to
lot
catch
of
them.
hybrids, and guys are fishing in the bayous or fishing in the little cuts around. They'll catch a hybrid, but these are stripers. They were planted years ago. They never really did take hold in the lake because of the water temperature. Once that temperature gets hot, they get out of there, and the lake warms up so fast they don't stick around long. But you catch them in that winter bite, and these have been really nice fish.
What's the water temperatures up to now? Is it?
We're around 77.
I was about to say, are we touching 80 yet? No?
We're not hitting 80 yet. Jason, did you check it yesterday? Was it 77? Yeah, I think it was 77 when I was looking at it.
Okay, still safe. Yeah. Any other places that you've hit besides the Causeway? Trout at the Causeway? Anything?
Yeah, there's some fish. There's a few fish
That's good.
there.
That's good.
It's not like what you're seeing on the trussels. It's not
Well,
a
of
trussel
course
bite.
not,
People have to understand that they get very pocketed. People will get frustrated and they'll give up on that bridge quickly. But it's the same thing that happened on the trussels. The trussels, those fish were spread out and they were everywhere. But as that pressure comes in, they get more and more pocketed. And they'll get on just a few sets of piles. So you'll start to see, like we've been seeing lately, some guys go out, they don't catch. But the other guys, 5 piles down from them, fill in the box. So you have to be able to move in search for them a little bit. You get a couple bites, and that's where you want to stay.
And that's reflective of the size of the Causeway. I mean, it's not 5 miles. It's it's
20,
quadruple that size. So
but I'm
it's
talking
hard to
about
find.
the trussels too. The trussels right now. That's my example. Is really using
okay.
the trussels. You can have 20 boats in a line, and 19 of them are not
One or
catching.
two, yeah.
And then you're going to have that guy on the end.
Yeah.
He's on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
Now is where it was early in the run when we had all the fish there. You could pretty much pick a pile.
Mm-hmm.
But it tightens up, pressure squeezes them in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, sheepshead. We had a phenomenal year for sheepshead. You saw a good run for sheepshead?
This year it was good. I think last year was better.
Really?
For us anyway, but I have seen some great catches coming in. Some guys are really on them. We haven't smacked them like we had in years past, that's for sure.
Okay. Switching gears a little bit here, we'll be talking a little Sac-a-lait fishing, talking all Sac-a-lait fishing with Cajun Ray Miller, the Sac-a-lait killer, fishing the Tchefuncte River, ventures off into Bayou Cane every once in a while, maybe Bayou Bonfca, Tickfall River. We're going to get into all of that, but Ray, good to see you.
Nice to see you. It's been a while.
What are we looking at as far as Sac-a-lait is concerned? The spring spawn is definitely over. Let's just jog back a little bit to the spawn, typical spawn that we saw in the Tchefuncte River.
Yeah, the spawn, as far as I know, myself and some of the other guys that I fished with, it was a pretty good spawn.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we caught a lot of fish. I don't keep a whole lot of fish during the spawn. And, Tim, he packs stuff and he goes.
He's out of there.
He's gone. He doesn't even want to catch any spawn fish.
Right.
But, I was in a canal last week, and the spawn should have been over almost a month ago now.
Right.
I still caught 4 fish that still had, we call them the tuxedo because they turn black. The males turn almost solid black. You've seen that, Corey, I'm sure. But we call that the tuxedo. And I caught 4 of them that still had the tuxedos on it. I was really shocked, you know. But no, the spawn was pretty good. But I'm glad it's over because I want them to be in the deeper water.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You know, during the spawn, you get a lot of people that come in there from all over, and they want to go and fish the shallow water because it's easy to catch them, you know. But and because you fish maybe 2 foot under a real light carp, you try not to make any splash, you know. So when you're pitching in 6 inches to a foot of water, so it makes it easy. And you think a lot of people catch all these fish and it's going to really hurt the fishery. It doesn't, because the majority of the fish are going to spawn in 8 to 10 foot of water, and people don't fish that deep during the spawn.
Yeah.
So, and if that's just the way it is, you know? So then each one of the females is going to lay about 80,000 eggs.
Yeah.
Even though the survival rate's about 2%. It doesn't sound like a big number, but if you have 100,000 females laying and every one of them has 2,000 eggs that survive, you know, that's a lot of fish.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, you know, one good thing I've always thought about Sac-a-lait spawn is it brings out the anglers to fish the shallows with popping corks to catch Sac-a-lait, but in their heads, that's when the Sac-a-lait bite during the spawn.
Yeah.
So after that's over, they're done with Sac-a-lait for the rest of the year. So it kind of isolates guys. Okay, fish for your Sac-a-lait, and then you're done.
That's it.
And it basically everything recovers
That's
throughout
why
the
I don't
year.
worry about it. I know there's a lot of people out there, and the beauty of fishing during the weekdays like I do, I don't get to see as many, but I know there's a lot of people that come in there during the spawn. But that's okay, you know, they'll catch their fair share, but there's still plenty of them in there.
Yeah. So last time I talked with Tim, and now you have live scope, so you're seeing more underwater. He said he saw a lot of smaller fish, indicating that we had a great spawn last year.
It was really strange because this year we have seen a lot of smaller fish, and I'm talking little bitty fish, you know, like 4 inches long, you know, just not much to them. But that's a good indicator right there. But it goes in cycles. We're going to have years where we're going to catch a lot of small fish. It's like every 3 or 4 years we start catching giant fish, you know. So a couple of years ago we were catching a lot of 12 and a half, 13-inch Sac-a-lait. This year it's been a lot of 10 and 11s, you know. So, but I'm hoping that it's going to go back, flip and get some big ones because I want to catch. I usually catch at least one 16 and a half, 17-inch Sac-a-lait every year, and I haven't done it yet this year. So I'm waiting on
16,
that.
17. About what does that weigh? Do you even weigh
That
them?
weighs, yeah, I do weigh them. But that a 16 and a half inch Sac-a-lait, depending if you have a black Sac-a-lait or a white Sac-a-lait, the black's going to weigh a little bit more than the white. The white is usually going to be a little bit longer fish. The blacks have more girth to them.
Thicker, yeah.
You know, so but that's typically about a 2-pound fish.
2 pound, wow.
You know, maybe a little bit more.
Yeah.
So if you start catching these 17, 18-inch Sac-a-lait, those are the 3-pounders.
Wow.
But I know there's probably a few of them in there, but we just don't really see them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe one of these days I'll catch one of those. I'll be happy with a 16-inch.
You have to go bass fishing.
Have to go bass fishing, yeah. Let me tell you what I did yesterday, though. I caught a chicka pin yesterday. You know what a chicka pin is?
I do know what a chicka pin is.
I caught a chicka pin yesterday. It was 12 inches long, weighed 1¼ pounds. That it almost made the top 10 in the state. I mean, it's huge. I mean, it just, you know, you figure most plates that you're going to eat on is 9-inch plate. And this thing would flop over the plate on both sides, you know.
All right, Mr. Green. Let's go.
I give
Showtime.
Porter all my best spots.
You give him my best spot.
I give him all my best spots. He gonna give. Well, you gonna give me yours. This is a trap situation here.
I've been following you trying to kidnap your spots off of the videos you make with Keith. I said, oh, you know me and the we know the bayou, so we looking. Oh, they bought up in his glass.
I give everybody my spots.
About the same bayou every time with me and
The
you.
only problem most people have with me is they don't have this wrist.
Yeah, you're right. Hey, you good.
This is a golden wrist right now.
All right, we got Mr. Green, Bayou Lacombe Classic. Man, I tell you what, I've been fishing with Mr. Green for a while, since building the website in 2012. Met you in 2012 when Bayou Adventure did the fishing rodeo over here. We met over the VFW. And man, I tell you what, you've taught me so much about fishing here, and also the videos we've made. Isn't it good to go back and look at those videos and the fun we've had back when the trout were at the with the shell pad with the pylons, and man, along that shoreline, made some great videos. But welcome, Mr. Green.
Well, thanks for having me,
got
Keith.
some questions for you. Let's kick things off with what you're seeing out there. I know you're making your crappie lures. I know that's kept you busy. You have been doing a lot of Sac-a-lait fishing this year, some here, and some up at Lake Caddo. Talk a little bit about Sac-a-lait fishing here.
Well, I find out that the Sac-a-lait here now, they're all going back to deep water. I had a seminar here last Thursday, and a couple guys, I do pick some out the pile that I'll talk some board stuff, but I can back it up. But people out there, they call it board. So I told him, I said, I can make you a fisherman in one day. And but the trick is me making you a fisherman in one day, you're in my boat.
Yeah.
And absolutely. I'm where the fish are at. And I know where they're at. But anyway, we caught 30 that day and he caught 10.
Wow.
And so he was very happy about that.
Yeah, that's great.
And but I've noticed they're not on the banks much anymore. They done start moving off. We went test that. But I've been catching a lot of good Sac-a-lait in 10, 12 feet of water now. You know, none at the trusses, so I hope everybody don't go run to the trusser and think they
So not at the trusses.
No, they're not that. But you can go try the trusser.
And when you say the trestles, that's the trestle, the trace bridge that goes over the Bayou Lacombe.
Well, you might. Well, they're already over at the trusser in Slidell.
The Sac-a-lait. You heard that first here. The Sac-a-lait at the train bridge.
Fishing Sac-a-lait because it's a new trim for me in my life now. You know, I bad fishing. I've been fishing knee-high as a duck and tall as a biddy. So, you know, it's been pretty cool, man. Sac-a-lait, I've been enjoying doing that here. Yeah. And if anybody wants some tips, it's the older I find. Now, I put plenty of structure out. I catch a few on them, some good structure. But it's the older trees, you can come in by Lacombe, go north a little bit and go down south. You can find the older trees.
Old trees.
The one that been there 30, 40, 50 years. The Sac-a-lait still hanging on those trees.
So what kind of structure are you putting out there without picking your brain too much or giving any kind of secrets? Is this like throwing Christmas trees down there, or there's hand-built stuff?
Well, the Christmas trees have not done that well for me, even though, you know, it probably done well for other people. I use cane in buckets, and I put a lot of moss around it. You know, plenty moss. Okay. And then I drop the buckets down, and I learned in Caddo, they cut some trees and they were still green, and a lot of moss was on the trees, and we just towed Sac-a-lait up. I said, well, when I get home, I'm gonna put moss on the canes and tie it and drop it down. So I put about 10 out, and it's about 50-50. 5 I caught fish on, some, and the other 5 I haven't. But fish is this way. You look at one area, and you say, well, they gotta be here. But they don't like it. They move over here to a spot that you don't like. You know what I mean? So
like, it doesn't make sense.
It doesnn't make sense to us, but it makes sense to them. And I caught a lot of fish on the docks, but I'm talking about deep water docks. I flip under there and just let it come back out to the main bayou. I caught a lot under there in Bayou Lacombe.
So Sac-a-lait fishing is safe to say another great year for Bayou Lacombe, inching its way back up from that disastrous
during Katrina
during
time.
Katrina, it
it's
just
been,
wiped them out.
Matter of fact, it's been awesome. A lot of time I go out 10 o'clock. You know what I mean? I stay home and drink me a little Jack Daniel until 10 at night. Then I go to fishing at 10 in the morning. So, it's just been great. It's been really good. I really want to go get on the river, but the river just been so high over there, and I can't make a video there. So I just make one at home, even though I know home. If anybody on the water want to learn how to fish Bayou Lacombe, I'm just free to call me, I'm free to find me, free to ask me. I'll show you every trick and trade they got.
Absolutely.
You know.
Talk. What's the difference in fishing Lake Caddo or from fishing here for Sac-a-lait?
Not too much, because Caddo got a lot of shallow water, got a lot of deep water. Sac-a-lait is a fish that loves structure. So if you can find structure, you can find them. You know, like brim. You know, brim love to run the thing like shell cracker. If you find a bait of shells somewhere on the bank, the shell crackers are there. You know, bass fishermen, you know, if you catch the water pouring out of cuts and marshes and stuff, you know, once you learn the habitat of what fish love to do, then you can catch those fish.
Right out the gate, in creating the website, needed some traffic. I said, man, look, you're gonna call your tournament home. You need a home for your tournament.
Results there,
and man, we started the NBS page, the North Shore Bass Series page, and started keeping track of the results and the upcoming tournaments, and it's just blown up ever since.
You got a lot of tournaments now on there. A lot of them.
Yeah, we got a lot of tournaments. If you're interested in bass tournament fishing on the North Shore, we got Lyres and Lunkers, Pearl River Team Trails, Florida Parish Bass Anglers, Double Nickel. We got the Bayou Lacombe Big Bass now.
That's going on, well, right now.
Absolutely right now. So we're gonna might have some stats. I feel my phone vibrating.
It ain't dark yet.
No results yet. No results yet.
They're still fishing. We need to go. We need to go out there and get some bass. It's your funky.
So, Chris, you got a YouTube channel, CB Bassin. Man, it seems like you're getting better and better with putting your videos together. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, it's tough to try to get. I try to get a little bit better each video. You know, do a little something different each video, but it's time consuming.
Yeah, and, absolutely.
I was trying to keep with that 10-day time frame per video, and not really keeping up with it too well.
Well, hey, you know, you meeting any new people as far as subscribers, comments?
It seems like almost almost every trip now when I go out there, somebody sees me and recognizes me. So it's pretty humbling. It's pretty good to, it feels good to someone actually watching and you see them out there and like, hey,
I enjoy watching. I get a lot of articles written because of you guys, your fishing trips, because I get the feel of a whole trip, and it's easier to write about, starting out, what time you start out, what you're using, every all that stuff. But so I watch all you guys' videos and tremendously enjoy it. I like your big redfish video that you caught a redfish out at Car Drive. Man,
that was a surprise right there.
That was great. That was great.
He hung in. I knew instantly. Oh, that's red.
So what are you seeing as far as, definitely bass spawn is over? I think have we seen it? Was Jimmy's a 10 the biggest bass that we've seen?
It was
caught?
a 9-1.
Okay, 9-1.
And that was the biggest for Bass Assassin's history. And his dad caught one at 8-10 that same tournament.
The same tournament. Talked to Jimmy. This is the personal best for Jimmy and his dad. Now, you know
dad.
they've done some fishing.
Oh, yeah.
And to catch...
What was that? The 9-1 and what?
And an 8-10.
8-10.
Right here in Lacombe.
Same bayou,
Yep.
same day, same tournament.
Yep.
Personal best for both of them. Isn't that something?
I told his dad, I said, he caught his first before Jimmy. I said, if you'd have caught both of them, you'd have walked away with this one, no problem.
Yeah.
17
You'd have
pounds of
shattered
fish
it,
and 2 fish. So,
Yeah, it turned...
Did they break 10? Did
no.
I see somewhere?
They weren't fishing...
Must have been that 9.
Yeah, there wasn't
Yeah.
none in my tournament, no.
Now, I don't think we've ever had a 10
No.
on that big bass board that I
No.
keep track of. It's always been the 9s.
Nines,
So,
yeah.
boy, but somebody's got to do it.
Yeah.
You know,
Someone's going to do it
somebody's gotta
sooner or later. Hopefully me. But.
So. Look, Chris, talk a little bit about what you're seeing as far as bass fishing, things getting back to normal as far as the post-spawn funk that we've seen.
Yeah,
Talk a little bit about what are some hot spots where you like to fish right around now. Going into summer, the weather's warming up, water's warming up. Kind of got to change your time going fishing a little bit earlier.
It seems like the shad spawn is already kind of peeling off already. You know, I mean, it seemed like that spawn came on quick this year. It came on hard for one couple weeks, and then that was it. You know, it wasn't like it normally is spread out.
Yeah.
You know, and then it's all on the shad spawn deal now. That's pretty much ending now. So it's now you're trying to work out to get out further towards the mouth of the bayous and the main canals now. But just like I heard y'all talking to Corey, and I was talking to him earlier, there's no grass anymore.
Man.
It's hard to find good grass anymore to catch these fish.
Even up in the rivers and the bayous, you're seeing less grass?
Yeah.
And that's
Like-
all due to the hurricane, you think?
I'm guessing. This year, Bonfuca, there's no grass anywhere. Every now and then you see a couple patches, which then you'll see 5 anglers trying to get to it. Oh, there's a patch of grass. There's 15 people trying to fish it now.
Yeah.
But it's tough right now.
Yeah. Right. Thank y'all for coming out, and I hope you enjoyed it.
Here you go, Corey.